In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a 10 slide carousel for Instagram exactly like this. And I'm going to give you a free template for you to go ahead and play with as well. Now, recently, I also uploaded a video that shows you how to create a style. I provided you a preset and also showed you how to create that preset yourself. On top of that, I gave images so then that way people could edit those photos along with me and have fun with it. Now, those same photos from that video are going to be what we'll be using today. And that's about 20 photos, and we'll pick and choose what we can to make sure that we create an effective 10 slide carousel that will stand out among the rest. So let's dive in. So once you load up your Photoshop, we'll go into a new file, and then you'll start off by creating an actual preset. So what you need to know is that a standard 4x5 image on Instagram is 1080 by 1350 pixels. So what we'll do is we'll multiply that by 10. So we'll go ahead and add 10,800, and then the height doesn't change because the height is going to be a constant row all throughout. So the width is what we need to do. So we times that by 10, and that's what we get. Now the resolution that we want is 300 pixels per inch is pretty much the best resolution that it could possibly get. It does make the sizes a little bit bigger, but it's okay because it's going to compress slightly and you'll still want it to be creating the best possible resolution for it. So we'll do that and we'll go ahead and create that. So now you'll be presented with the large canvas, and in this canvas what we'll need to do is we'll need to create some guides as a starting point. So let's go over to the top and we'll go into view, guides, and new guide layout. So from new guide layout, you may be on a different one, but we'll need to go into custom. So make sure you click this and go into custom, and then color, choose whatever color is that you want. I recommend to just leaving it by default in cyan. Cyan usually sticks out in comparison to all these other ones because you might be blending in between and you might get confused. So we want to have columns. Now in columns, we'll do 10 and we'll remove the gutter if that ever populates for you. Same as width, if that populates, we don't need those extra lines. Now here is where it may get a little bit different. I like to explore and play around with some rows as well. So it really depends on what you want to do. I'll always remove the gutter. Now, if you want to have images that are halves, then you can have 2 there. Or if you're like me, you can actually play around with this and you can have 5 or 6 of them, just depending on how many it is that you want. So for today, I think what we'll do is we'll leave it at 4, but I'll come back to this and I'll show you why we're not going to do it right now. So we'll deactivate that, we'll press OK. And now what we'll need to do is we'll need to go into a slicing tool. So the slicing tool will divide all of this and cut it into 10 individual carousel slices. So we'll go ahead and click over here. Now, if you haven't got the slice tool selected, that's all good. You might have the crop tool or perspective in there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select the slice one. So slice there. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. If you've already gone ahead and selected a row and done that, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to right click and divide slice. And you'll make sure that you divide it vertically. So we'll divide it vertically into 10. So you can see that behind here, it's already created there at the 10. Now I'm not going to save this because I'm going to show you the other way. And once we've done the selection of just vertical, we'll go ahead and click slices from guides. So then that way it'll actually just do it all at once. You don't have to right click, you don't have to do anything else. Now, both ways work. It just depends on what you want to do. If you've created rows, it's going to create slices for those as well. So now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and actually create the 4 slides. So we'll go back into the guides, go to new guide layouts, we'll go to rows, we'll do 4. Don't forget to remove the gutter and press OK. So I'll show you why we're going to do 4 here in a moment. Now, I've actually provided you the photos as well. If you want to edit with me, please just go ahead into the description, click the link and go grab those photos. Extract them into a folder on your desktop or anywhere else that you want, somewhere that's easily accessible, and we'll continue on from there. So I've got all those photos saved over here on my desktop in a separate folder. And now I want to go ahead and just look through all these photos and see what I would like to have as, I guess, my main picture that everyone will see right at the start. And I think I'm going to go with this one. So I'll go ahead and I'll drag it in. Now, all of these photos are at full resolution that are extracted from Lightroom. And the reason why I do that and not decrease them to, like a 50% or a half size, whatever it is that you want to call it, is because I like to expand photos like that and just play around with them. So full resolution is pretty important to me. And then once you extract it, obviously it's going to be extracting at the pixel rate that we've actually created the canvas in. So we'll start off with this photo and then we'll place around a couple other ones. So I'm thinking we'll do a focus on probably the GDR at the start, and we'll play around with the S13 afterwards. Now I'm going to put some more focus on both of these cars at the moment. We'll grab, let's see, we'll grab this one. We'll put it over here. And now you can see that obviously it's a landscape photo. I'm going to use this photo as part of these rows that I've created. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to put it there. Now you can see that's obviously cutting off a little bit there. So I'm going to select the rectangular tool and I'm going to highlight the section that I want. Now the reason why those guides are great is because you can actually see that it clicks into the sides of it. So we'll do that. And then on the bottom here, we'll select that image. And on the right bottom side there, we can see that there's a layer mask tool. We'll press that and it'll cut out around it. So we'll make sure that only that photo is going to be in that little section that we've highlighted there. So we'll go back and find some more landscape photos that actually stand out a little bit in regards to this and show the cars. So probably grab this one. And again, you want to just expand it a little bit, see how you go. All right, so I'll try and get a bit more center. I think that's more center here. Again, rectangular tool, select that, highlight the image that you've got, the layer mask, and that's done. So then we'll grab another photo, keep repeating this process. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and create a little bit of a feature on the first photo to make sure that it's eye-catching and get people to go ahead and scroll through the rest of them. Let's find a photo that I think will be all right here. Maybe that one. No. Let's choose the wheel on this one. All right. So again, perfect reason as to why I like high resolution photos at this point. Now, actually, just before I continue, I'm just going to keep increasing this one quickly. But the one thing that I forgot to do was to lock my guides. Now you can see here that I can actually move them. I don't want to move them because if I go ahead and I do that, I'm going to screw myself over at some point and everything's going to be out just slightly. So make sure you go back to guides over here in the view section and we'll lock the guides. Now you can see I can't move them. So that is great. Now, again, we'll go back to this photo of the wheel on this car. So now let's actually grab that wheel and I'm going to just select the rim. So if we go to the object selection tool, which is right above the slices, we'll select that, select the photo, don't forget that. Now we don't want to select obviously the whole car, we just want to highlight over the wheel. And generally it'll get it right the first time, but sometimes it'll need for you to readjust it and just do it again. So we'll do that and see if we can just get the circle a little bit smaller. Now you can see that it's actually selected it pretty well, but there is just a little bit that's gone over. So right over here as an example, and I'm just zooming in there. So we want to make sure that we get rid of that. So we'll go and grab the polygonal lasso tool and zoom in. When you're holding Alt, or I think it's Command, you want to just click and then let go and just keep clicking until you've highlighted the section correctly. And then just remerge back to that point, or you can press enter and it should do it automatically for you. Now I want to go and copy that. So Control C, paste it, and you can see over here that we now have a new layer. So we'll go ahead and just delete the original photo just for now. And you can see that the layer is just sitting there. Now, something important to note about layers, whatever is on the top, on the bottom side over here is going to be the dominant one. So you can see that as it's on top of all the other ones, it's going to be right there. Now, what we do want as well is we want to make sure that this is behind the cars. So in order for us to do that, we also need to create another layer for those cars specifically. So the object tool is really important over here and really helps us out a lot. So we'll go ahead and click that and we'll highlight. All right, so I've messed up in one point. The problem is that I don't have the photo selected. So we'll go ahead and select that photo and you can see there that it's trying to do that. Obviously it's trying to highlight the last layer, and the layer obviously isn't here, so it's not going to do anything. Again, just press shift once you've done that, and then we can additionally add another thing into that layer. So that's all good. It's looking pretty spot on. We'll copy that, we'll paste it, and we'll bring this layer back down here. We'll rename it. This layer over here is slide 1 wheel. And then layer 2, which is now these cars, do slide 1 cars. Now we'll move over, we'll grab the wheel. You can see how it moved under all these other photos, and it's moving under this layer. That's because it is now a secondary layer underneath the other ones. Now we'll just find some positioning for this, and as you can tell, there is no black spot around it anymore. So it selected just the rim that we needed, and we'll go ahead and click the wheel on the bottom right there. Let's go for blending options, and in the blending options we'll want to just do a blend mode. Let's see what works here. And I think I generally would use screen or lighten, but lighten over here seems to be the best one. And we'll move it over there right behind. Now copy paste, we'll create a second one, and we'll try and get it to match up perfectly. Now on the bottom over here, so I'll just move that over here, the toolbar. You can see this section here to transform the image. You can just click that. We're going to invert it. And now they're overlapping images. They're just creating a little bit of a unique section over here. Let's decrease the size. So we'll select both layers. So you click one, press shift, click the other one, and now they will move together in unison. So we'll put them over here. Let's maybe create one more. And we'll put it over there. Let's spread them out a little bit more actually. I think I want it to be a little bit more different there. And we'll bring this one down to the middle. We'll get them touching. All right. Now, that last slide over here, you can see that it is passing through both of those other wheels. I don't want it to look like that because it looks a bit messy. So we're going to actually start cutting out a little bit of that. So in order for us to do that, we'll go ahead and click that specific one, and we'll go and create a new layer mask. So make sure that when you select a new layer mask, we go ahead and click the blank section that's over here that appears on the right of it. The tool here that we're going to use is the brush. So we'll click the brush, and we'll make sure that it's selected on the black color. So we want the negative section of it rather than the positive. So when we have it on white, this part over here, you can see obviously it's not going to color in any white. There's no color that it's actually doing. It's going to be adding. We don't want to be adding, we want to be removing. So we're going to the black part. Now you can see here, as soon as I start doing that, it's going to start disappearing. And that is exactly what we want. Now you can refine how strong you want that as an effect, you know, how much of it you want to apply at the same time by adjusting the opacity, the flow, the smoothing, which are all at the top here, as well as when you select the brush, you can change the hardness of it. Now I'm pretty happy with what I've got here because these are the settings that I would generally use, but you just want to finally, and zoom in if you need to, you just want to finally adjust and get rid of what you can to make sure that it removes that ugly overlap. So we'll do that really quickly. And now it looks a bit better. Now you can do that as many times as you want, whatever style it is that you're going for. But I really just want it to look like it's got two inverted wheels and then one right behind it. I'd love for another photo to have it directly centered, but I don't have another one that's like that. But we'll make do with what we've got, and I think it really looks pretty cool already. It's a bit eye-catching. Now what we want to do is we'll create some text. So over here we'll grab the font, or maybe we'll increase the size. Let's do 36, see what that does. Now you can see that the text is looking a bit weird. The reason for that is obviously it's behind all these other layers. We want it to be on the top. and we'll make the color just white so that way we can read it. No, not lorem ipsum, we don't need freaking random Latin. We're going to actually go into Google and just grab what Nissan is in Japanese. So we'll grab those Japanese characters. All right, so now that we've got those characters, we're going to put it right in the middle. Let's maybe increase the size. So we'll drag it up, press done. And then we'll go ahead and just look at any other fonts. So we'll just drag this toolbar over onto the side. We'll go down and just scroll to what kind of lettering you have. I think I like this one actually. So we'll use that, and then I'm going to do some effects on it. So if we right click here, we'll go to blending options, and we want to just double check what kind of things that we can do. Now there's a whole bunch of blending options that you can choose. I generally like to do a little bit of a glow, so I'm just going to do outer glow, and you can replicate my settings that are over here. So opacity, let's see, we'll do something that's a little bit, maybe we'll just land on 40. I do like it to be on a glow of white, so that's all right. And everything else is fine. We don't really want to change anything here. Now you can see straight away, it looks different. It looks great. I'm going to probably change the color of it. Now let's see, what kind of color could I put on here? Maybe I'll do this, and I'm going to have to actually change. We'll grab the color code. I'm going to change the blending. We'll go to outer glow. We'll select the color, and we'll paste that in there as well. All right, that looks cool to me. Now let's go ahead and continue on with the slides, and we'll just go back and grab some other photos. All right, and what we'll do is we'll create something else to continue on with the flow to capture their engagement again. We'll grab another image. So I'm thinking we might use this one, and we'll grab two more that are features. We've already used that one. Let's probably use this one over here. All right, and we'll grab another one. So we'll probably grab that one and just try and make it the same size. What I generally do is I overlap them just to have a look and match them up. So right click, blending options, and we'll do a stroke. So a stroke will get them to stand out a little bit over here, and we won't do a too thick of a stroke.
Nice.
We'll leave the stroke on the inside just so it goes inwards on the photo and decreases a little bit of the size of it rather than consuming more of the actual framing. And we'll grab another one over there, and again double check it to the positions on the inside. Perfect. All right, that looks fine to me. And we'll find something over here now for the S13. So I think we'll go with this image as a focus point. Now we're on the 6th slide. You can always keep track which slide you're on just by looking at these over here. We'll leave that as a focus there. Select done, the backside. And we'll do something similar to the one that we just did just beforehand. So that way we sandwich this one with the same style. Sweet, now that looks good. Lastly, we're just gonna grab one more photo over here. We'll use this one and have it centered out. We'll just zoom out and have a look at what everything is doing. That's looking really good. Now, last one, let's do a feature again. We'll go ahead and grab, we'll grab this one and see if we can get it right on. I think that's good, in the right spot, right in the middle. And we'll grab the rectangular tool, we'll select it again and create a new layer. That's pretty much just the last photo that we want to end up on. We want to make sure that everything else looks good. So I'm pretty happy with all of that. Now you can rename all your files if that's what you want, and that way you know what's in slide 1, slide 2. What I recommend that you do is just to make sure that at least you've got this template saved and you know what you've done, what steps you followed. So we'll go ahead and save as. What I usually do is I'll save it as the date that I'm doing it and the name of, the owners of the car or the tags of the car. So we can just go ahead and save that. And when we open that Photoshop file back up, it'll have all of our edits and everything that we've done saved into it. Okay, so now that that's done, what you'll want to do is you'll export it. So we'll go into File, Export, Save for Web, and Legacy. And in here, we want to make sure that all of these slices are just selected. And the only reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure that we've got the photo set to a JPEG. I usually leave it as optimized over here. It creates smaller files as it says over there. The quality, I always like to bump it up to 100 because we want to make sure that we've got the best possible quality there. And the image size, we'll just leave it there. But quality on bicubic sharper, the reason why I do that is because it just refines the image just a slight bit more. It gives it just a little bit more of a sharpness. So whatever the compression that happens on Instagram, it still leaves a little bit of quality on there. Now, save these images and find out wherever it is again that you want to save them. We'll just save them in the same location. It'll create a new folder for you. So just put them wherever it is that you want and save. Once that's saved, go into that location. You'll see here that your images have been exported properly. Now you can go ahead and upload them into Instagram. So once you've dragged them in, you'll click this on the bottom here, and it's the same thing on the phone. You just want to make sure that you do a 4:5 ratio, and the 4:5 ratio is exactly what we've calculated for. So 1080 by 1350 for every single slide. And you can see what it's going to look like on Instagram, and it looks great. So that's it. We'll go next. On next, skip all the filters, all that stuff, type in whatever it is that you want to do. So once you're happy with that, you just click share and it's good to go. Now, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I tried to be as detailed as possible while speed running through it. There is quite a lot to go through on Photoshop, but don't worry about that. Just play around with it. There are tons of tools for you to explore. Keep learning, keep developing yourself, and just keep trying. Just do your best, whatever it is that you're trying to do over here. And whether you're doing this with people or you're doing it with cars or garbage cans or whatever the hell it is, go for it, man. It's, you're the only limit that there is. It doesn't matter about the skill sets. You can learn anything that you want. I want to thank you guys again. And if it was really helpful for you, please subscribe and yeah, leave a comment down below, whatever it is that you want to learn. I'll do my best to try and show you guys. Peace.